Google just promised to magically conjure up 19 billion gallons of water a year.
19 billion. Yeah.
Right. Why? Because our collective obsession with AI is literally drinking our public infrastructure dry. Welcome to today's deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. And, for you listening, today's docket includes some highly radioactive political and economic moves. We need to state right off the bat, we aren't taking sides here.
No, absolutely not. We're not endorsing any political viewpoints, just reporting the source material.
Exactly. Our mission for you today is to really just look at the mechanics of why all these systems are, suddenly clashing so hard.
Yeah, because we are seeing this glaring theme across the board. I mean, systems are hitting their absolute physical, financial, and institutional limits.
Okay, let's unpack this, starting with that water issue I mentioned.
Right.
We have states like Illinois and New York enforcing these strict pauses on building massive AI data centers. The power grids and public water supplies just cannot handle the cooling requirements.
They're maxed out.
Completely. It's like building an incredibly fast sports car, but, realizing there are no gas stations available.
Yeah, what's fascinating here is the technological bypass being developed in a response.
Oh.
Out of the Idaho National Laboratory, Antares Nuclear just achieved a historic success with their Mark Zero microreactor.
A microreactor?
Yeah, it's a privately developed non-light water reactor.
Wait, non-light water. What does that actually mean for the listener? Like, why is that any better than the massive nuclear cooling towers we already have?
Well, traditional reactors use water to cool the core, right? Which means they require massive permanent infrastructure built right next to a giant water source.
Oh, hence the data center water problem.
Exactly. But non-light water reactors use different coolants like liquid metal or gas. They can be incredibly small, completely modular, and essentially self-sustaining.
Wow.
Yeah, this gives tech giants a very real pathway to just step off the public utility grid entirely.
Mm-hmm.
If they can't get power from the state, they'll just, drop a microreactor next to their servers.
That is wild. I mean, if corporations are literally having to build their own nuclear reactors just to keep the lights on, no wonder Wall Street is getting twitchy.
Right.
Because the physical bottlenecks in AI seem to be, bleeding right into the financial markets. I'm looking at this May jobs report.
The 172,000 jobs added.
Yeah, exactly. 117,000. I thought a strong labor market was a reason to celebrate, but the Nasdaq just took a massive 4.2% dive.
It did, led by semiconductor giants, too. NVIDIA, Broadcom.
Right. So why is good employment news causing a market crash?
Well, because in a late-cycle economy, strong job growth actually fuels investor anxiety.
Wait, how does that work?
It signals to the Federal Reserve that the economy is running hot. And that translates to a fear of higher for longer interest rates.
Ah, okay.
Investors aren't necessarily looking at the underlying health of NVIDIA or Broadcom. They're looking at sustained high borrowing costs, which causes massive capital flight from growth sectors.
Though, interestingly, there are exceptions, right? I mean, autonomous freight pioneer Einride still managed a successful merger today.
Yeah, at a $1.35 billion valuation.
So capital is fleeing the theoretical and moving toward companies solving physical, real-world supply chain issues.
Which totally makes sense, given the geopolitical friction out there right now.
Right. We've got U.S. forces intercepting Iranian combat drones in the Strait of Hormuz.
Yeah, and Ukraine striking 5 Russian logistics ships in the Black Sea.
That kinetic escalation puts immense pressure on global supply routes.
Huge pressure. But, the institutional friction domestically is arguably just as intense.
Oh, for sure. Today, a $70 billion immigration bill finally passed to end the federal shutdown.
Right, but almost instantly, a federal judge struck down a sweeping executive asylum freeze.
And concurrently, the newly appointed acting director of national intelligence, Bill Polt, is initiating massive intelligence layoffs to aggressively shrink the agency.
It's just friction everywhere.
So what does this all mean? Are we just stuck in a permanent loop of aggressive executive orders and instant judicial injunctions? Is this whiplash the new normal for governance?
It's a stress test. I mean, you could argue the institutional checks and balances are doing exactly what they were designed to do, right?
Preventing unilateral action.
Exactly. But the mechanism creates a localized gridlock. It's identical to those maxed out power grids we started with. The system simply refuses to process any more load.
And that gridlock, it trickles down. You see it at CBS News. 60 Minutes is dealing with internal editorial clashes right now.
Yeah, management and journalists hitting their own institutional friction points over political coverage bias.
Right. And we also see it in policy experiments trying to bypass old systems. You have the rollout of new Trump accounts promising a $1,000 federal investment for kids.
Or at the state level in Colorado, where the judiciary just reversed the homicide convictions of 2 paramedics.
Testing the boundaries of medical liability. It's like every level of society is litigating where the limits are.
Truly. Speaking of testing limits, the Carolina Hurricanes just barely pushed past theirs to tie the Stanley Cup Series.
Oh man, in a massive overtime thriller against Vegas.
A little bit of overtime exhaustion to cap off a day defined by systems running out of steam.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for tuning in to today's deep dive. We've watched systems hit their limits today, from the power grid to the stock market to the courts.
But let's leave you with this to mull over. Think back to those tech giants and the nuclear microreactors.
Right.
If corporations successfully deploy their own private nuclear power to bypass the public grid, how will that permanently shift the balance of power between private companies and the state?
Yeah, if corporations start generating their own nuclear power, they aren't just building faster sports cars anymore. They're paving their own private highways.
Yeah.
Where does that leave the rest of us?
Exactly.
Something for you to think about. Catch you next time.